Okay.
Well, bonjour, my dear friend and birthday girl, Maureen Hagan. Happy birthday, Mo.
Thank you, Natalie. I can't think of a better way to spend my B day than with you.
In bed with me on top. No, it would be, if there would be wine, then there would be, and wine and a little dark chocolate, then it'd be super you and me. But you and me in bed together, it is kind of special, isn't it? It's
It
been a
it
while.
it has.
And this is coming out, so this is coming out in January, but you and I are today on your birthday, so December 10th today, as we record this, and beautiful sunshine seemingly in London, Ontario. And you told
Yes.
me a little bit about your day that sounds just quite wonderful. And I think we all deserve to take a little bit of time like that as we go through the paces of a phenomenal few months, to take
Yes,
a
you
little bit
could
of time
you
to
could say that.
reflect.
Phenomenal. And normally I would say on my birthday, I want to go here, do this, do that. And today I just wanted to be present and connecting and doing absolutely as little as possible otherwise.
Well, start by talking about that. It's a special year and you've got some big plans. Tell us a little bit about what your plans are for, because your birthday's so close to the end of the year, essentially, how you see yourself, going into 2021.
Ready to, reboot my batteries. We're
Mm.
actually encouraging everyone at CanFit Pro. I think this is the first time in 27 years that we're actually giving everyone the entire week between Christmas and New Year's, other than the call center who will be there for people who prefer to call in. But we're giving everyone extra vacation so
Mm.
that we can all just reflect, celebrate, renew, and reboot our batteries. And as much as I'm excited to stay engaged during this next, three whatever weeks left in December,
Yeah.
I'm really excited about 2021. One reason is I'm really excited to say au revoir to 2020, and I'm excited. I'm excited for the fact that we're moving through this hell and we're just going to keep going because we know that's how we can win. I
Mm,
think the famous Winston Churchill said that, when you're going through hell, just keep going. And so
mm.
that's what we're doing. And I'm really excited about the opportunities. There are so many. And as much as opportunities, Natalie, there's so much help that's going to be needed
Mm,
and so many ways that I know I can contribute and CanFit Pro can contribute and you can contribute and the
mm,
collective we that I'm really excited to see how we can help people get back on their feet, move forward because we ain't moving back, move
mm.
forward and really help serve the world in the way that we Fit Pros are meant to serve the world.
Well, tell us about some of those wins. I mean, you see so obviously with everybody that you're connected with and the Canfor Pro members and and all the instructors and that and the trainers that you've been working with. Tell us about some of those wins. Like what are some of the things you've seen that you're like, had it not been for the pandemic, this wouldn't have been something that somebody would have gravitated to. Tell us what you see, what you've seen to shine.
Well, there's a number of things, but one is the ability for people to pivot
Mm,
quicker than they ever imagined they could. We always
quicker.
get, yeah, quicker. And the pivot is actually, we hear the word a lot, and I thought, I'm not going to say it anymore. But then a great colleague of ours, Fraser Quelch, defined it so brilliantly. It's the axis that we move from, and the ability to pivot on our axis. Our axis is our why. And
Mm,
to be able to pivot and move in the direction that we have to fast. Most of us always, either ourselves or by nature of our systems, got paralyzed in detail.
mm,
And COVID forced us to move faster than ever and
mm,
realize that what got us here is not getting us to there. And so that's the one thing that I am so proud of is the
mm,
ability for how well many fitness professionals were able to pivot their businesses, how they serve their clients, their members, their participants.
mm.
Now, not all did. Many waited because they thought, no, I'm not much into technology. I'm going to wait until things reopen. And that's okay. I'm not judging, but I'm proud of the way that we are able to pivot our business from a live in person training and events company to a 100% online, digital, and not virtual because we're all live in person.
Mm,
And we saw the incredible value that did. But more importantly, the confidence it gave fitness professionals to change, to evolve, to
mm,
transform, to pivot, to do what was necessary to survive. And now they will find, as the months go on
mm.
and the years, that they will thrive in this new world that once upon a time, a number of us said, technology, that's not for me. So that's the one
It's
thing.
like you and I are like, don't make eye contact on either of those things. That's too
Oh
funny.
my gosh, we were like, if we could turn the mic on and the tech people did everything else, and all we
Yeah.
had to do is show up, then we felt good.
Just give me
So,
some space and a good sports bra and I'll do what I gotta
yeah.
do. But yeah.
But I think the other thing I'm excited
Mm.
about is the resilient strength that we found this year.
Yeah.
It's going to help us approach the tough times ahead. It's
Mm,
not going to be easier in 21. It's
mm,
just going to be better because we're going to be able to see some momentum going forward and use the strength that we've gained this year and the speed at which we've been able to work, not realizing, because I honestly believe, I think I said this, I don't know if it was to you or to someone else this morning,
mm.
what what I felt like I've done what would have taken 10 years and I've done
Yeah.
it in 10.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, if you think about, and I know you and I are always like, looking ahead in terms of what it is. If you think about people have always needed health. Becoming physically active and staying physically active has been one of the greatest challenges of our and the generation before and the generation after. And we see the rates of sedentarism, and we see how inactivity and being seated and all these things affect people. And now people will need us more than ever before for their physical, mental, and immune health. And I feel like nothing could have forced us into really identifying how we can better meet their needs than something like this, to not have access to what it is. And one thing that I want to go back to is you mentioned, the concept or the wording of virtual versus in person versus live versus everything else. And I see it, I appreciate the way you do that for both Canfor Pros trainings as well as conferences. I'm starting to see it a little bit from less virtual, more at home, because the idea for that, I think, for fitness professionals is not, it doesn't go to the environment itself, it's a where you meet people. And for our most of our careers, our entire career, if you want to access this goodness, come to me in these four walls around these people in an atmosphere that you may or may not be comfortable with at all. And now all of a sudden I'm like, I'm coming to you.
Yeah.
So I love the concept of, yes, it's virtual, but virtual is like, I mean, yes. Now let's think about what it really means for us. So I love that you're saying it's provided live. It's these opportunities for people to, and I know some of the pro trainers have said it, where participants sometimes are like, hey, can you turn on the camera? And they're like, I'm in the car, I'm dropping off my kids, I'm doing this, but they're still learning and they're still connected. And so the idea of meeting people where they are and staying connected to them, I think we've learned more, like you said, 10 years packed it into 1 year. So I love that you're bringing that point up, Mo.
Yes, and I hear it every single day
Do you?
that the eye contact is more genuine when you're actually meeting people where they're at in their
Mm,
homes, where they feel comfortable to then become perhaps a little uncomfortable with what their trainer or their coach is actually, helping them to take on. Yeah.
You got even creative more than what some other people did. I'd love for you to share, because it's such a remarkable story, how you, and I mean, we're in December and you're still doing it, how you literally went to the street to meet people and connect with people and create something so phenomenal in your neighborhood. Tell us about that.
Oh, yes, I'd love to. And I have to give credit to a fellow instructor that I've known and worked with for 26 years, my
Mm,
friend Sarah. When COVID first hit, so many people reached out, as I'm sure they did with you, and said, "Oh my gosh, Natalie, how are you? How are you doing?" I mean, we did that for each other. And
mm,
Sarah actually lives around the corner, and she reached out to me, and she was struggling. She's like, I'm not teaching, I'm not doing what I've been, what I know to be true of my
mm,
purpose for so
mm,
long. I'm thinking I want to do something in the park or I want to go outdoors. And she said, I want to do a street class. And you live on a street that's sort of contained and quiet.
Mm.
off the main roads. And she says, I'd like to do an outdoor fitness class. And I just said yes, because as you know me, I had no time. I was tired. I was so busy. I don't have time for that. But I said yes. Why? Because I wanted to help. And
Mm.
I thought, just trust the process. I said yes. And she said, Mo, let's start. I went, okay. And we decided, all right, why not next Sunday, which happened to be the last weekend of April. So we did the old fashioned guerrilla marketing. She dropped off little notes in everybody's mailbox. And she asked me, who should we ask? I said, I don't really know my neighbors. I know two of them. So just ask everybody. And then I got a knock at the door literally 24 hours later, and the gentleman across the street, who I happen to know his name, he said, I guess you'll need this. He hands me a Bluetooth big speaker, a microphone, and said, this is what you're going to need. And I went, oh my gosh, thank you.
It's
Of
a
course, I had
thing
no,
now.
of course, I had no idea how to even set it up. So he helped me. It was crazy. He laughed at me most weeks when he had to help, but we just started and they came and we said, we're just going to do this. And it was unbelievable. We had everyone from 8-year-olds to 83-year-olds and no judgment. Everybody stood in their driveways or stood on the road. We were really, stressed the importance of the physical distancing and our purpose. And we started teaching. And they kept coming back and they kept asking, are you going to keep doing this? And we just looked at each other and said, well, I have no plans to go anywhere for a while. And that's also,
Mm.
for someone that's never had the same schedule every week for 25 years,
Mhm.
I'm like, well, I'm not going anywhere. So here it is, December, and we've only missed 2 Sundays due to weather. And it's been amazing. We actually turned people away because we're only allowed 25.
Mm.
And it got out in the neighborhood, and some people bring their friends from other streets. We've been in the news, and it's been great, but we really didn't tell anyone outside
Mm.
our street what we were doing because we didn't want to raise attention at first, but it's been so therapeutic. I know all my neighbors' names. I haven't yet. This is going to be part of my end of the year story. Um, the weight loss, the marriage counseling, I
Mm.
say that because
Mm.
couples come out, families come out. I have a woman that's in her 80s came out to me and said, thank you for saving my life. And I'm like, she says, I had no energy and I had no real reason to go outside. Um, you know, I just didn't have that. My husband and I are pretty much on our own. And she comes out every Sunday. And she's an instructor that used to teach back in the days at the Y.
Wow.
And came out every Sunday. She'd come out and show me something, her favorite tights. She brought a lanyard from CanFit Pro back from London, Ontario
Oh,
in
come on.
1994.
Come on.
So it's just been great. The stories, the relationships, we know each other. We've had um, driveway socials. They've celebrated Sarah and I with a fun gift at the end of the summer, thinking that we are done come fall.
Mm.
And here we are still going, and we're going to teach throughout the winter.
I mean, any form of movement, I think it's because again, it's that we real. It's just. I mean, I know there's going to be weight loss goals and things like that, but I hope that if anything, we're realizing that it's just fitness,
Community and fitness.
community, movement, connection, and how movement heals. Movement
Oh,
heals. And it's not
movement makes you smile. It
makes you
makes people
smile
feel good.
because you're doing it together.
And it's become a cause. It's become a
Mm.
cause
Mm.
to keep our community strong. And I guarantee you that whoever they are in the street, they all feel proud of setting an example for the rest of London as the news
Yeah.
has gotten out, and they feel really connected and they know each other, which in this time it benefits from knowing your neighbors because we
Yeah.
can all call on each other. I see my husband shovels even like their sidewalks in the morning
Yeah.
when we've had snow. It's been
Yeah.
absolutely beyond my belief, and it's so much more than fitness.
Mm.
And the best part, Natalie, is it's taken just moving bodies. Um, we don't use equipment until just recently. A fellow friend, our lovely Suad, gifted me with her booty band resistance band. So
Aw.
we've added a little extra resistance now, but we're just moving our bodies
Nice.
outside, and it's been really great. So the message here, and I'm so glad you asked me about this, is nothing should stop you. I mean, I've had so many instructors and trainers reach out and said, I wanted to do the same thing, but I couldn't figure out the music. I know it's an excuse. I
Mhm.
didn't know how to invite people. And I'm like, you know what? Just tell people and figure it out as you go. And people will pitch
The
in and help.
noise will call them. They're going to be like, what's going on
Oh yeah,
outside? You know, street party.
10:45 on Sundays. I turn the
Yeah.
music up and wake up the neighbors.
It's just so I love how movement and health and that opportunity to connect are doing that, and I'm so proud to have you share that story, and I'm so proud of what you guys are doing there. Thank you so much for doing that. It's a great example, and I think it makes me think because as a and one of the biggest leader in the fitness industry, I know you're always thinking about like what's next and what can we help and how can we get people to there. So how has that impacted your consideration for trends and what
Mm,
2021 will mean for our industry?
yeah. And it'd be remiss to say, if we don't look at doing things differently
Mm,
and just if we just wait for things to return to normal,
yeah.
we will miss huge opportunities. There are so many silver linings of moving the industry forward by
Mm,
thinking of new and different ways, even if it's just temporary. Nothing will replace the live connection of a human being to human being, even if it's whatever meters apart. So, going to a community center, a fitness club, a studio will be a place of community. However, if that's the only way that we can serve and do our job and have a thriving career, we're going to
mm,
miss the boat. We have to look at the opportunities, which the trends are starting to show us. Now, I would like to say that the definition of a trend for 2021 is hard to really define because things have moved and changed so quickly that
mm.
what we are going to put forward as the the CanFit Pro trends, they
Yeah.
may be they may be transitional and they may
Ah,
continue to evolve. So
interesting. Okay.
online, online, the on demand, whether it's virtual or live stream, I strongly believe that will always stay. It'll be
Yeah.
a hybrid of sorts to expand and make it possible for people to do remote fitness, just like everybody's now able to do remote work.
Mm,
So the online and the live virtual will stay for years to come, I strongly believe, but it won't replace going to a destination for that community of friends that you only meet, 3 times a week, we hope,
mhm.
or however often you go to that place. Because I miss going places, but I also know that I can walk out the door and do fitness in nature, and that's another trend that we have seen dramatically increase is outdoor
Okay.
fitness.
Yeah.
And my outdoor class is just one example, but there are, I don't know if it's just because my husband says to me, "Oh, Mo, you're outside every day, so you're noticing more." But I see more people
No, there are
of
more
all
people.
ages
I mean,
moving
ask the dog
outdoors.
owner. The dog owners will tell you there's way more people because we always had to be out 12 months out of the year.
Yeah.
And obviously, well, there's more everybody about a dog. So there's more dog owners that I hadn't seen before, but it's different. And I've been speaking to some of the sports stores, the sport apparel stores, and they cannot, and it used to be bikes, or it was bikes a few months ago. They couldn't keep bikes in stock. Now they can't keep cross country skis in stock. And so the cross
Wow.
country trails are going to be interesting this year with a lot of novices because a lot of people haven't put those on, if not ever.
Yep.
But yeah, and I think it's just opportunities to do different things and for families and hopefully moving through the winter for those of us that are in Canada or northern United States to be able to take advantage and worry about a bit of that cabin fever kind of thing and to not do and to do things that are still responsible and focus on health and again that community and that family time, right?
Community, family time, healthier pets like your dog. I'm sure Andy's way more healthy because you're
He
out
is quite
more.
lean.
The other,
He is quite lean.
he's quite lean. There you go. And I also hear more dogs are getting rescued because more
Yes,
people are taking in, something into their life to give them
they're
that
available.
comfort and
Yeah.
love. But the other thing is lead by example. Even if you're not training clients outdoors or running an outdoor class yet,
Mm,
get outside and meet new people. practicing the physical distancing, but just get outside and enjoy nature because that will give you the dose of vitamin D and
Mm.
the nature. And that's one thing that I know for me has been a game changer for my health and my
Wow.
sanity and my mental wellness is getting outdoors more.
Interesting.
Mm,
Thinking about, so if because I did a little holiday list of suggestions for trainings. I talked about technology and training in my holiday list for fitness pros, or Santa list for fitness pros this year. If people are looking into evolving their careers and they're feeling a little bit stuck, so what would be, looking at the trends and looking at what
mm.
CanFit Pro has been providing, what CanFit Pro looking to provide, where can we pick and choose? How do we reassess that? Is it going back to your why? Is there another filter you would suggest there if you're going to invest anything in 2021? How does that look like for you?
Well, first of all, we must remember why we came into the fitness industry to begin with.
Mm,
And many of us, I would think many people are feeling lost or at least discouraged right now
mm,
because they may be out of work, they may not be doing what fulfills their, their why every day. And they're like,
mm,
well, maybe I should just leave this industry or, because they've been locked down, rehired, locked down more than twice or three times.
mm,
But first of all, start with your why because your why will that is your purpose. That is what you can fuel your passion behind, and that will get you out of any funk or blah or darkness that you feel. And then once you understand, because your why may have changed, you
mm.
may decide that you need to put fitness on the back burner and do something else right now. As long as it's serving your purpose, it will
Yeah.
be rewarding.
Mm,
The other filter I would see is looking at the opportunities that are new and different that we must be willing to take our blinders off and expand our filters to, and that is getting out of the physical and moving into the mental and wellness and
mm,
body positivity. And what you said earlier, meeting people where they're at, which
mm,
brings the technology piece in,
mm.
is trying to do the same thing but serve people the way they now need to be served is not going to work, at least short term. So being willing to take a training, retrain, take your stress resiliency course so you have some more strategies on how to help your clients. I'll tell you this, Natalie, and you know it because you do it, is
Mm,
that people are hiring trainers not for the physical, but just to help them have a purpose to get out of bed every day and get outside or talk to somebody about what they're eating or how they're focusing on the positive. It's the coaching. One of the trends is showing us that education and advanced leveling up
mm,
your education is going to be critical for fitness professionals, specifically personal trainers, to be seen credible at the level where health professionals will refer their patients to personal trainers to help them with that consistency of moving their body, eating
mm,
healthier, the balance of the two.
mm.
So it's a combined knowing how you want to serve the world, leveling up your education, or just re-engaging in something, whether it's a webinar, one of our upcoming events,
Mm.
or taking a course that will complement what you've already learned. Try
Yes.
something new.
It's interesting. I just had an idea as you were saying that, and some of the trainings I've been doing with trainers and instructors as they move to virtual is looking at the offers that they have. And one of the things that they're saying, they're like, well, people say they don't necessarily want to do it. And one of the things I asked them is, when's the last time you asked about their why? You went back to their goals. Because if you did your goal setting with your clients or participants in February, um, lots of change. I mean, we used to always say weight loss is the number one reason that people will potentially begin a physical activity program. I would render a guess that it's very different than that. You and I do some corporate talks and those presentations and workshops. Every single one I've done over the last, I want to say 4 months, all around mental health, all around stress resiliency, all around taming your stress, all around better sleep, all of these other things that, if anything, it's an opportunity for us to realize that we're not just sets and reps and choreography and
And
movement and
going
just
through the
that.
sweat
It's
and the burn. Yep.
exactly,
And that's
and weight
proven.
loss and
Yeah. And that's proven during COVID. We track all of our purchases that people make through CanFit Pro.
Right.
We were going to retire the HWL, the healthy weight loss, or repurpose it. It's like next to PT, the highest selling program because people were
Food.
looking for,
Yeah.
yeah. And then stress resiliency and anything. I mean, at the CanFit Pro virtual series,
Yeah.
it was surprising, yet not, that the highest attended sessions were body positivity and mental wellness,
Wow.
body weight training, and get your mindset right to get your life right.
Mm.
Mindset, body positivity and mental wellness, and then how to train your body without using any equipment.
Knowing you as well as I do, I'm going to render a guess that you're really proud of us, proud of the industry for those choices. Are you?
Yeah, and if you get me started, I'll probably
Sorry.
cry. But I
Mm,
am. I'm so proud of the no quit attitude
mm,
and the willingness to step into the fire and become very vulnerable to trying new things. And I go back to technology, how I'd have people on like to teach my private Facebook group hit class, and how I fumbled over my technology. They couldn't hear it. The music sounded terrible at first because I didn't have the stuff set up right, but they stuck with me. And I felt really proud of fellow fitness professionals that became super vulnerable and real. And that was one of the things that has been a silver lining in
mm,
all of this, is that the more vulnerable
mm,
and real that we became as fitness professionals, the more that we connected to our clients, and the more we gained more uh, interest from others to want to train with us. People who
mm.
have reached out and say, "Can I come to your street and do your fitness class?" Like, I remember being in your class. Like, I met a woman on the street. She's lived around the corner. I didn't even know she lived around the corner. She was in my fitness class back 30 years ago.
Wow.
And then, went to school, had kids, became a career woman and fell out of fitness. And she's coming to our fitness class
Mm.
this Sunday. So I'm really proud of the industry. And I'm really also saddened by, I'm saddened, but it's also my drive, because I'm saddened by just how much insult the fitness industry and how much pain the fitness industry and industry professionals have had to endure.
Mm.
And it just fuels my purpose even more to keep doing what I'm doing. And, I feel like I'm really just now getting started in what I'm really meant to do here in the industry, even after how many years? I feel like I'm just getting started and getting warmed up.
Well, you should know, Mo, that your fuel fuels us. And I know that it's lonely at the top. And I know I've told you this a few times throughout the year, but we are incredibly proud of you. I'm incredibly proud of you for all the pivoting. I mean, we used to mambo cha 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 pivot, but this is a whole other level of pivoting that we've done. We're off a step now. There's a whole other level of pivoting, but you are your shining light keeps pulling us towards it in everything that you do and the positivity that you exude out there, knowing fully well that it's just as difficult for you as it is for everybody else. And you're wanting to continue to serve and continue to lead is an absolute inspiration. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart on behalf of all of us. And we love you dearly. And I couldn't be happier to have spent a little bit of your time on your birthday with you, to say that, to have the opportunity to say that and to say thank you and how much we love you and appreciate you and look forward to leading with you into 2021. Thank you, Mo.
Well, my pleasure, and I'm very grateful. And yes, we have to do it together, because that's when, together we can accomplish far more. And it's going to be a pivotal year in everyone's life. And I'm so honored to be part of yours and everyone else's who is listening in. And we got to get together. We got to lock arms, and we got to be
Go.
strong.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mo. Happy
Mwah.
birthday.
Mwah. Thank you.